Today's driving safety technology would be inconceivable without Van Zanten's pioneering work. That makes the inventor proud. ESP has cost the company a lot of money, but it's been worth it. It's become a market success, and it saves a great many lives. A life's work devoted to the safety of millions of road users.
The picture your parents them over there watching you.
You want gangbang?
It's back.
You're here because your parents decided to put you in here.
The groundbreaking reality series returns.
You never hit me before? You never hit me?
Do you know it's still time to get it together?
With never before seen footage.
Come punch me then. Send you punching on me. You punch me?
This ain't no playground.
You're gonna know before you leave today. If you leave, if they find some space, I just teach you all how to disrespect.
It's a whole new season.
Don't come here with your movie face, because I ain't buying it.
Watch their transformation.
It bears to be a winner. It bears to be a winner.
Being like, you are a unit. You moving as one.
So why you doing what you do?
The Ministry of National Security and the ZNS Network presents Shark Treatment. A whole new season coming soon.
Direct Talk with your host David G goes on the road live in the Turks and Caicos Islands as we celebrate our heritage and culture. 2 countries, 1 people, 1 chain of islands.
Direct Talk live from the Turks and Caicos Islands, partially sponsored by Bahamas Air.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
Seasoned entrepreneur and philanthropist Lincoln Deal joins us next time on Journey TV. Tune in to hear some of his greatest fights and failures and how these were turned into his biggest wins because of his relentless pursuit to fulfill purpose. Don't you miss this powerful episode. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on ZNS. Journey TV, we share life's truths.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the Minister of National Security inspecting facilities at the Police Training College. Also, the Grand Bahama Utility Company launching its smart meter upgrade program. And the iconic Elbow Reef Lighthouse in Hopetown, Abaco to be restored. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm I'm Shoshana Wolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Minister of National Security getting a first-hand view of working conditions at police facilities throughout the island. Police stations in West Grand Bahama said to be on the critical list in need of an upgrade. Jay Philippe has the latest.
Following his tour of police stations in the Freeport area, the Minister of National Security headed west. His first stop was at the West End Police Station. Minister Monroe took a look at the facility while accompanied by senior police officials and the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie. Next, it was on to 8 Mile Rock Police Station to assess the conditions at that location.
The permanent secretary in the ministry is going to be directing the commissioner for an inventory of the age of the equipment servicing these stations that we own in any event, to make sure that we have proper working equipment for the men of the Royal and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. It's unacceptable that things continuously break down, and if that's because of age, then we need to replace it. If it's for any other reason, then we need to address it. But the commissioner knows that he can call on us for the resources that he needs, and it's my job as the minister to advocate with my colleagues to make sure that we get what is needed for Grand Bahama in this instance that we are addressing.
The National Security Minister also visited the police fire station located at the Northeast Police Station. While there, he delivered some good news for officers of that division.
There is going to be the new fire truck brought to this actual station, and so Grand Bahama will be getting the fire apparatus that it needs and that the Minister for Grand Bahama has been rowing for some time.
The tour also included an inspection of the Police Training College station located in the back of town area where recruits from Grand Bahama and the Turks and Caicos Islands are taking part in training sessions. Minister Monroe adding that the Royal Bahamas Police Force is currently in the process of recruiting an additional 5 squads to join the ranks in the foreseeable future.
There is a shortage generally that's occasioned by people retiring, people dying, and people being dismissed from the force, separate and apart from there having been a manpower deficit to start with. And so hopefully we can get permission for there to be aggressive recruitment so that we can fill the shortages.
Overall, the minister says he was pleased with what he saw, but notes that some focus must be directed at upgrading the facilities on Grand Bahama to better equip the working men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
The police force are to be commended for the work that they've done in renovating their stations, and we also saw it at 8 Mile Rock at a time when there wasn't the budget for it, but they used police labor and pinched where they had to. That is commendable, but the facilities have to be put in proper order, and so I don't think I'd be speaking out of school to say that that would be a push for us going into the new budget year, that the stations be brought up to where they should be so that the men and women will have proper conditions to work in.
The National Security Minister says he is satisfied that police officers on Grand Bahama have been doing their best given the resources they have to work with. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry for Grand Bahama and the Royal Bahamas Police Force partnership for halfway homes taking shape. The aim is to give shelter to homeless persons along with a structured program that includes a social support. It is a partnership that will bode well for those in need of shelter. The vision, that of the Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, who has forged a partnership with the corporate community and the Royal Bahamas Police Force to collaborate on rebuilding a number of dilapidated homes in the back of town for the purpose of providing stability for vulnerable families.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force and our commissioner has agreed to some of the homes that they use in the back of town area, Trip Circle, for those to be used as halfway homes for some of these families that have been displaced. And so we've partnered with the corporate community through our new unit called Collab to refurbish the homes.
Initially, families would have been allowed to stay in the halfway houses for a period of 3 months, but the time has since been extended to 6 months.
But what it is, we're trying to develop a holistic approach to impacting lives. So we're assisting them through other corporate companies to finding jobs. Some of the families have kids, so we're going to help them to get organized, to get in schools. and to really find a way to not just, feed them for a day, but cause them to be able to develop the skills that they need.
Commissioner of Police Paul Roll says police officers who have fallen on hard times will also benefit.
Some of those are going to be used, of course, for those to help those folks who don't have anywhere to live, and I believe 1 or 2 for officers. We still have 1 or 2 officers, retired officers, who found themselves in a precarious situation as well, having retired, got into dire straits, and we have allowed them to remain in the house.
The country's top cop says that he is pleased to partner with the Ministry for Grand Bahama and the corporate community.
I want to thank Minister Moxie here in Grand Bahama for this initiative and partnering with us to make the living conditions for those retirees who are unable to take care of themselves with a home to really find place. And then we have 1 or 2 officers that do not have places to live. And so it's a partnership. And then I want to thank the business community here in Grand Bahama for partnering with the Ministry for Grand Bahama and the police force in making this happen.
There is no set completion date for the 13 homes that will be repaired as halfway houses. The new COVID-19 health guidelines receiving the thumbs up from the Grand Bahama Christian Council. President Reverend Kenneth Lewis says he's pleased that the government saw it necessary to reduce restrictions, particularly as it relates to the church.
I think it is in keeping with what we see happening globally. We find that a number of countries are relaxing the restrictions. And that is due to the downward trend of the number of cases of COVID-19 and the reduction in deaths. And we've seen that here in the Bahamas as well. So I think it was appropriate for the government to take those steps. Allowing 50% capacity in the churches for worship services is a good thing. We have suffered as a result of the restrictions, in that we've seen fewer attendees at church services, and that has affected the giving. And as a result of that, the difficulties in paying our bills and meeting our operational expenses.
Reverend Lewis is also commending the government for relaxing protocols for funeral services.
I remember when Reverend Ware died, and we were not allowed to bring his body into the sanctuary. So we couldn't do what we call the commendation. The commendation comes before the committal, and we weren't able to do the commendation. And I was very, very depressed about it, because his body was outside of the sanctuary as opposed to inside of the sanctuary. So the Christian tradition calls for us to speak the words over the body, if you will, commendation. And we weren't able to do that. So allowing the bodies into the church now, I think is a wonderful step forward. I would encourage all Bahamians to follow the protocols. And I would explain to them that the evidence, the fact that there are protocols in place, and to determine whether the protocols are working reflects the downward trend of the number of cases and the number of deaths. So I would encourage all Bahamians to adhere to the protocols.
Now, under the new guidelines, private social gatherings can be held indoors with as many as 40 people, and outdoor gatherings no more than 100 persons if they are fully vaccinated or produce a negative COVID-19 test and protocols are followed. Restaurants can operate at 75% capacity, ensuring customers are fully vaccinated or have a negative COVID-19 test. In other news, Grand Bahama Utility Company has launched its smart meter upgrade program. Work began this past Saturday in West End and is expected to continue and cover customers across Grand Bahama. Philshire Grant, Chief Operating Officer of GBUC in Public Affairs, says that this is the company's first step in the automation of the metering system, and when completed, it will result in improved efficiency in the operations and will eliminate the need to estimate accounts while providing a greater accuracy of metering. Customers can expect a 30-minute interval while crews remove the current meter and replace it with the new smart meter. In other news, the United States is partnering with the Elbow Reef Lighthouse Society and the Elbow Reef Foundation to restore the iconic Elbow Reef Lighthouse in Abaco. The project is made possible by a grant from the U.S. Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation worth over $472,000. Constructed in 1863, the iconic red and white Elbow Reef Lighthouse is the last of its kind in the world. Over the years, regular weathering and wear compounded by the devastating force of Hurricane Dorian in 2019 have taken a toll on the lighthouse, and the grant will help fund repairs to the interior original slate floors, the lens that focuses a beam of light visible for up to 23 nautical miles, and restoration and repainting of the iconic red and white candy-colored exterior. On Friday, Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, the U.S. Embassy, U.S. Charge d'Affaires Usha Pitts, other U.S. and Bahamian government officials and stakeholders traveled to Abaco to inaugurate the Elbow Reef Lighthouse Restoration Project. Switching gears now, a traffic mishap claiming the life of a man in Abaco. The accident occurred on Monday morning in South Abaco, and initial investigations revealed that the driver of a 2005 Honda Fit vehicle was traveling north on Ernestine Highway when he lost control, veered off the eastern side of the street, resulting in the vehicle overturning several times. Reports say the driver was ejected from the vehicle and his lifeless body was found in the mangroves south of a local resort. Now, he was transported to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where he was examined by a doctor who pronounced him dead. Investigations are continuing. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Come on down.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
And running in lane number 6, Shawnee Miller.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here.
It's so tight. Is she going to get there?
I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. Thank you for believing that we could do it again, bigger and better. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. Alive believed that every Bahamian deserved a world-class network and excellent customer service. We believe that every Bahamian deserves a network that works in good and bad times. We believed and we delivered. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection.
Shawnee Miller Weibo is total class. Look at her go. What a win.
As we continue to improve our lightning-fast, world-class network and connect with art, culture, and the world around us. Never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Star General's Cash Protector Plan pays a lump sum of cash on the occurrence of a first diagnosis of cancer, heart attack, and various illnesses. Purchase cash amounts from $5,000 to $50,000.
Ice a coconut got this, cocoa skin
Tangerine madness, juiciness, ice the baddest. Sweet like a sugar in a dripping like ice hot.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Schools in Grand Bahama have been green-lighted by the Ministry of Education to resume face-to-face learning. Yesterday, we spoke with education officials at several public schools, and tonight we hear from several of the private institutions. Ramiko Knowles reports.
The journey for schools on the island to resume using the face-to-face method has been long. Parents and education officials have worked tirelessly to ensure that children are not left behind, but it came with its share of challenges. Even with the combined efforts, not all students were able to keep up. That is why the cry for schools to resume in person was so great. There have been reports of learning loss and students who never logged on to the Ministry of Education's learning management system. But there is some good news. The principal of Grand Bahama Academy, Jeffrey Jervis, says the hybrid model was successful at their school. However, the teachers are glad to have the students back on campus.
This is the first day that we're fully face-to-face, where we had a unique hybrid situation, where we had our junior high coming on one day and our senior high coming on another day. Because of the school size, this is a small school. We were able to have our ELC and our elementary, they were face-to-face all along. So they've been progressing very well. With our hybrid situation, we had, I think it was really good.
Over 170 students are attending Grand Bahama Academy, and nearly 100% of the student population have returned. The classes range from the EOC level all the way through grades 12, which means there is a graduating class. Principal Jervis says it has been quite a unique term for the students and seniors, who will all be partaking in BJCs, BJCSEs, and end-of-year examinations. Expectations are high.
Probably because, by us taking attendance and posting it, we had most of our students showing up to class every day. Again, it's the second part that really needed some juggling, maneuvering. But, teachers were in the Zoom classes. They were, participating. They were engaging our students, getting them involved with everything. So we have great expectations for this year because our students were showing up for classes.
At Vanina Smith Academy, formerly known as Dominion Technical Institute, acting principal Tanisha Adderley says they are remaining hybrid.
Right now, all of the kids are obviously excited to be back. The virtual platform they do not like. They did not like it at all. And it was frustrating for them and for the teachers because there's only so much you can do. Of course, we made the best of it, but there's only so much you can do. And, parents were getting frustrated because they didn't know what to do and all of that stuff. But being in the classroom, it's a completely different setting because now you get to really work with them.
The classes start from K2 and goes up to grade 10. However, they are looking to expand. Students at the school will also sit examinations this year. The principal says they are well prepared.
In years past, we've had students sit the BJC in the 6th grade. We had one, he sat his general science in the 6th grade, and he passed with an A. So right now he's in the 10th grade, and he's preparing for his BGCSEs because he has all of his BJCs already. So from 6th grade, we push, 5th grade really, we push all of the national examinations so they can always be a step ahead. So by the time they hit 12th grade, it's really a relaxed year. You've already done everything that you needed to do. So that's something that we do.
Although it is relatively a small school, grade 10 teacher Shaniqua Bean says she is happy that the students are in the classroom.
Virtually, it was a mix of challenging as well as easygoing, whereas you had some challenges regarding internet as well as some students not being able to understand lessons virtually. But we have where it is easygoing because we try to make it as easy as possible. But not everyone will be able to actually handle everything virtually.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
The Vessels of Purpose Elite Girls Mentoring Program now has a new board of directors to manage the affairs of the organization. Founder Brenda Mae Cooper says she realized the importance of establishing an executive board in 2018 during a leadership program tour in the United States sponsored by the U.S. Embassy.
Traveled to 5 different states in America to basically talk about nonprofit organizations, the management of these nonprofit organizations. During that trip was when the importance of a board of directors for any profitable organization is to be formed. That was birthed during that trip. Another opportunity came when it was after Hurricane Dorian, when I personally had persons who outside of the Bahamas, international persons who wanted to partner with the organization, but because we lacked certain structure that the board would bring, we were not able to assist a lot of Bahamians who needed the assistance at the time.
Chairman of the board, Othniel Pinder, is excited about the opportunity to serve.
We had our first board meeting just a week ago, and there's so many things on the agenda for this year that I believe that would make an impact on the young ladies. This organization caters from young ladies from 7 to 21 years of age, and we just want to make an impact in all areas of their lives. Our organization is challenged in one area that we are seeking to fill quickly, and that is we're in need of a transportation. And so if anyone out there who was willing to assist in helping us with a minivan or acquiring a minivan, that would be greatly appreciated.
Now, other members of the board include Jan Mizik, Sherelle Lockhart, Danelle Knowles, LaShanda Bain, Lurleen Burrows Moss, Tammy Mitchell, Lakiska Russell, and Vilsha Grant. And that's a look at stories making news. Here's the check on what's happening in sports.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. We have some scores from Bimini from the Youth Basketball League, but first and foremost, from a local perspective, one of the young promising baseball coaches is working with youngsters at the YMCA baseball field. National team athlete in more than one sport, Mr. Leon Cooper, is now taking his talents on the baseball field helping youngsters. Up and Adams Sports focuses on improving baseball skills for athletes ages 8 and up.
I'm going to give them my 100% and give them all the knowledge that I have to try to get them to at least the college level or even into the pros. And I work more primarily with the baseball guys. They are more excited with the baseball, but I do work with all sports. But mostly Tuesday, Thursdays, work with the baseball guys, just helping them to strive for the best that they can do, instilling them what I've learned and what I've been studying and what I've been through going through the college and pro ranks.
Through the week, the players work on their skill positions while also learning multiple positions on the diamond.
We work on our framing, work on our blocking drills, work on our pop time, getting it down to second base, getting them stronger. Had them in the gym also as an off season to get them stronger. The sets that are old enough, 13, 14. The younger kids, we do the basics, push-ups, sit-ups, squats and things to make sure that they maintain, they start at a basis before we start building it up to really strength training with the weights.
Switching gears now from baseball to basketball, Edron Martinborough and his Evangel University team got a 67-65 win on senior night against Mid-American Nazarene University at home to improve to 20-8 on the season. The former Tabernacle Falcon, who earlier this season scored 1,000 points for his career for the program, finished the game with 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists in the win.
That was a very good team that we played, and we might even see them again in the playoffs, which starts on Wednesday. But coming into the playoffs, we trying to win this thing. We trying to go all the way to the top and make the national tournament, which was the goal from the start. So we coming in on a streak and we coming in hot. We know we have the guys and the talent, and we have full faith. And like you said, we won 20 games, which I never did in the past. And so to end my career, maybe, because I have another year, I haven't decided if I want to use that extra year to play yet, and so we'll see how it goes.
Sticking with hoops action over in Bimini scores from week 3 of the Bimini Youth Basketball Grassroots League. In primary school boys action, the Marlins edged out Gateway Eagles 21-16, led by Renald Strawn with 11 points. The Eagles was led by Darren Hinsey with 9 points in a losing effort. In senior boys action, the Bimini Marlins ran away with the W 55-31, winning by double digits. Jasmine Rock was a high point man for the Marlins with 15 points. Sherrick Ellis scored a game-high 19 points for the Eagles in the loss. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Don't miss the fabulous 25% off store-wide sale at Park and Shop downtown this February 23rd to the 28th, excluding underwear and ragtag items.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with Z&S to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
Bad little lady, yeah, she be driving me crazy. When she licking her lips and moving them hips like, come here, baby. I wanna take it down now.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Lovato Brennan, you are our Facebook friend tonight. We want to say thank you for always tuning in. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire Z&S News team, I'm Shoshana Will-Parkinson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Direct Talk with your host David G goes on the road live in the Turks and Caicos Islands as we celebrate our heritage and culture. 2 countries, 1 people, 1 chain of islands.
Direct Talk live from the Turks and Caicos Islands, partially sponsored by Bahamas Air.
I want y'all to picture your parents them over there watching y'all. You want gangbang?
It's back.
You're here because your parents decided to put you in here.
The groundbreaking reality series returns.
You never told me before? You raise your hand at me?
Do you know it's still time to get it together?
With never before seen footage.
Come punch me then. Send you to punch him, mommy. You punch me?
This ain't no playground. You can know before you leave today. If you leave, if they find some space, I just teach you all how to disrespect.
It's a whole new season.
Don't come here with your movie face, because I ain't buying it.
Watch their transformation.
It bears to be a winner. It bears to be a winner. Teamwork. You are a unit. You moving as one.
So why you doing what you do? The Ministry of National Security and the Z&S Network presents Shark Treatment. A whole new season coming soon.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, a controversial High Court's ruling sparks proposed changes to land legislation. The sick-out continues across the public service. A longtime public servant makes a return to the diplomatic corps, and Team Bahamas shines at ITF Junior Championships. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. The recent National Gender-Based Violence Law Review Forum tossing the often muzzled issue of sexual assault back into the fore. Today, Minister of National Security Wayne Munro lending his voice to the matter amid reports of the country's dangerously high sexual offenses rate. Antoine Smith has more.
Shocking statistics revealing the Bahamas to be among countries with the highest rape rate in the region. Cause for concern for many top officials and lawmakers, among them Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Munro, who says the seemingly high occurrence of the crime requires the relevant ministries to take a closer look.
We need to look at the instances of where these are happening. We have a small population, so it's per capita. We have a high influx of students doing spring break. Anecdotally, from my previous practice, a lot of sexual offenses are reported during the spring break season. We need to educate persons, men and women, because both men and women are victims of sexual offenses.
The hot button topic making its way back into social circles following the Department of Social Services National Forum on Gender-Based Violence last week. It also follows an ongoing national debate on the criminalization of the very polarized issue of marital rape. A private 2020 IDB survey revealing instances of violence against women increased during the pandemic. However, recorded numbers say otherwise.
Rape is one of the crimes that is inherently one that's driven by reporting. It's not like murder where you find a dead body. Over the course of years, certainly since I've been back from law school, a lot of work has been done in encouraging the victims of sexual offenses to feel free to make reports.
According to recently released statistics by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, in 2021, instances of sexual offenses decreased by some 16%, with 170 cases reported over that of 213 in 2020. However, many believe this number to be severely underreported.
We understand that may well cause the number of reports to increase, but it's more important for us to get the reports than to try to in any way manipulate statistics by tampering with reporting. You encourage to report sexual offenses, the Central Detective Unit.
Antoine Smith, ZNS Network News.
Now, keep in mind, stakeholders in the fight against domestic and gender-based violence are not letting up and pushing for legislation to protect victims. One of them is the Zonta Club of New Providence. Its president shared with our Carla Palmer the results of the forum held on the weekend.
As president of the Zonta Club of New Providence, Marisa Mason-Smith has been advocating and agitating for changes to take place in our laws as it relates to the protection and safety of women for decades.
Time has come in our country where the laws that protect our women, our girls, must be tightened and must be known to the public.
As a participant to the most recent forum on domestic violence and gender reform, which ended at Bahama on Saturday, Mason-Smith described the forum as one of the most timely and important, and says for her, it met its objective of addressing the need to advance the laws in our country as it relates to gender-based violence.
As a result of the 2015 Task Force report, the recommendations were clear as to why we needed to strengthen our gender-based violence laws and educate our public with regard to our current laws.
With the forum complementing the work by Zonta in its work with the Department of Gender and Family Affairs, Mason-Smith says education is a key component to understanding and knowing your rights.
We're looking at a specialized court for domestic violence. We seek to eradicate the whole concept on you deserve that.
Now that the forum is over, those anticipated recommendations to be forwarded the Prime Minister to advance the domestic violence legislation will have direct input of Mason Smith and his ancients, whom are recognized as a major stakeholder.
That task force report recommendations is really the blueprint for us going forward. And so I do believe it's just a matter of us determining the priority items that the government wants to focus on in this legislative calendar.
Mason Smith is advising everyone familiarize themselves with the Gender-Based Violence Task Force report of 2015. Carl Palmer, ZNS Network News.
In other news, authorities seizing 277 illegal firearms in 2021, along with 3,430 rounds of ammunition. According to Police Commissioner Paul Roll, this led to the arrest and arraignment of some 145 suspects. Fast forward to 2022, and efforts continue to stem the transshipment of illegal firearms to the Bahamas. Earlier this month, the police force partnered with the colleagues in the United States and seized 7 pistols, 1 AR-15 assault rifle, and 85 rounds of ammunition that were shipped here. In related news, a guilty plea from a couple arrested and formally charged with gun and firearm possession here in the capital. Appearing before Magistrate Samuel McKinney in court number 8 were Keith Higgs and Abigail Nelson, who were yesterday rearraigned for possession of a prohibited weapon, possession of firearms with intent to supply, importation of firearms, importation of ammunition, conspiracy to import firearms, and conspiracy to import ammunition. This after the pair was allegedly found with 8 firearms and ammunition. Higgs pleaded guilty to all counts. He was convicted on all and sentenced to 5 years to run concurrently, plus fined $20,000. Failure to pay could lead to an additional year behind bars. Nelson also pleaded guilty, but only to possession of firearm and possession of ammunition, both with intent to supply. As a consequence, she was convicted and sentenced to 2 years to run concurrently. Prosecution withdrew the remaining counts. Higgs and Nelson have been granted the right to appeal. Well, also tonight, the Court of Appeal has upheld the conviction and sentence of intendant appellant Christopher McQueen. McQueen was charged with the 2016 murder of Martin Nixon. However, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter by provocation and was convicted and sentenced to 30 years behind bars. His sentence was then reduced to 20 years for his guilty plea, with a further reduction of 38 months for time spent on remand, which means he's serving a 17-year prison term. Meanwhile, McQueen filed an application to the Court of Appeal seeking an extension of time to appeal his sentence, arguing that it is unduly harsh and severe. After hearing from both sides, the court refused his application and upheld his conviction and sentence, noting that it is not legitimate to criticize the sentence as unduly harsh merely because it is on the upper end of the sentencing scale. Well, the government's hoping to amend the law following a Privy Council ruling declaring land conveyances without subdivision approval since January 2011 as null and void. The matter stemming from legal action against February Point Resort Estates Limited, where Malik Momin entered an agreement in 2009 to buy a lot in a subdivision in Exuma for $895,000. Attorney Christina Galanis tied the issues facing Olympian Ramon Miller, who was conveyed land by the government and is now challenged to getting the necessary infrastructure in place. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Ryan Pinder, confirming to reporters today a review of the Privy Council's ruling as the government tries to get a grip on its implications, adding that officials are also unaware of just how many properties without subdivision approval have been conveyed since 2011.
Certainly, this is not something that we want to leave open-ended for the Bahamian people. There are many conveyances that have occurred over a decade now that are legitimate, that are material, and that are bargained for, that need to be preserved. So we're looking at our legislative options to see if we can have a legislative remediation of this issue so it doesn't become a vexing issue for Bahamians.
Now, as for how quickly the government will be able to act, the Attorney General says the matter is being examined in real time.
Law reform is looking at possible legislative amendments. We're weighing whether we proceed with one amendment or if we proceed with a full planning and subdivision replacement legislation to make it more transparent and easier and facilitate development and preserve Bahamians' rights. But if that is not viable in the short term, we'll certainly bring an amendment if we think it appropriate to fix the situation.
Well, still to come, 2 new diplomatic appointments and an update on that public service sick-out. We'll be back after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years, but at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family, and together we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Shanika became the new savings meme. Get a KFC Mega Mash Bucket Meal with 8 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, a Mega Mashed Potato with gravy, and 4 buttery biscuits, starting at only $20, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. Order on WhatsApp at 557-3663. KFC Nassau.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
More additions to the diplomatic service announced with 2 well-accomplished Bahamians representing the country internationally. Desmond Saunders has more on this afternoon's ceremony at the Balmoral Club.
Flanked by family, friends, and dignitaries, Ambassador to the Republic of Cuba, His Excellency Dr. Elliston Ramming, and Ambassador to the United Nations, New York, Stan Smith, took the oath of allegiance during a ceremony at Balmoral Club, Cable Beach. The new ambassadors have distinguished careers within the public service and will now bring a diverse mix of experience to the Foreign Service.
Our relationship with fellow members of the United Nations and that with the government of the Republic of Cuba are among the top priorities.
Ambassador to the United Nations Stan Smith served as Bahamas Ambassador at Large from 2015 to 2017 and headed the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Legal Division during that time. He also contributed to the ministry's UN teams on human rights and provided general foreign policy development support.
We look forward to Mr. Smith's distinguishing himself further as he takes on the role of Ambassador to the United Nations. The United Nations is the centerpiece of the diplomacy of the Bahamas and in one sense is our most important post.
His Excellency Dr. Ellison Ramming is a former Bahamian diplomat, criminologist, politician, and educator, serving as special assistant to 2 Bahamian prime ministers. He has also acted as consultant advisor on crime within the Ministry of National Security, as Commissioner of Corrections, and previously as ambassador to the Organization of American States and the Bahamas ambassador to the United Nations.
Dr. Ellison Ramming takes up his 3rd diplomatic appointment as ambassador to Cuba. He carries with him the accumulated skills of the balancing act that is required in the context of the Americas. But for the sinking of the HMBS Flamingo in 1980, relations with Cuba have been excellent.
Both ambassadors hope to strengthen and build relationships in their new role.
That we are about to deepen and strengthen the level of cooperation between our 2 countries as it relates to such things as manufacturing, pharmaceutical development, and import substitution technologies.
There is continuing work on the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. And for this reason, in expanding our global voice, I understand that the government intends to seek a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council for the 2032-33 term.
The 2 new ambassadors also hoping to further the Bahamas' interests. Today's event, the 3rd diplomatic appointment by the Bahamas government. Here at the Balmoral Club, Desmond Saunders, ZNS Network News.
Well, Prime Minister Davis also revealing at today's ceremony that the new ambassadorial appointments fulfill a campaign pledge to strengthen global, commercial, economic, and political ties and bolster trade and investment opportunities. The government also plans to appoint trade and investment attachés in several territories.
In the same way that we are keen to work in partnership with the Bahamian people to secure a better life for all, we are also keen to secure meaningful partnerships with those countries with whom we share mutual objectives. In order to support this objective, my government is also committed to further enhancing the expertise and reach of the members of our Foreign Service. The establishment of a Foreign Service Institute at the University of the Bahamas, therefore, remains a key priority.
Well, still on diplomatic relations this evening, the Bahamas is throwing its support behind the Secretary General of the United Nations' call that major conflict between Russia and Ukraine be prevented at all cost. This following Russia's decision to deploy troops into eastern Ukraine, reportedly on a peacekeeping mission. There is increasing anxiety in the wake of reports of civilian casualties, the targeting of critical civilian infrastructure, and ongoing evacuations. In a statement this afternoon, Foreign Affairs Minister the Honorable Fred Mitchell called on all actors to seek a diplomatic solution to the current conflict that respects the rules-based system of international law and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. He further encouraged they turn their efforts toward an immediate cessation of hostilities, the preservation of human life, and the prevention of any action that may intensify an already dangerous situation so as a peaceful and sustainable resolution can be achieved. Well, the government's keeping its eye on all aspects of opportunity over in the United Arab Emirates as Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs Minister, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, participated today in the Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate's first ministerial meeting held during the World Expo 2020. The conclave, established by the United States and the United Arab Emirates at COP26, analyzes greater investment in agriculture and innovation to help raise global ambition and underpin more rapid and transformative climate action. Minister Sweeting declared the Bahamas' urgency to join after 2019's Hurricane Dorian. He committed his ministry's goal to support greater blue and green economic diversification by engaging youth and women in green waste, biofuels, bioenergy, and agroecological research. 31 countries and 41 non-governmental partners have signed on to the initiative. Health officials are not blind to a possible fifth wave of COVID-19, something Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville, says some countries are already battling. He shared plans to tackle that possibility, also stating one mandate: the country is not prepared to let go just yet. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
Despite the gradual loosening of COVID-19 restrictions in the country, Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says officials have a contingency plan should numbers surge again. After all, the primary responsibility is to prevent community spread.
That is done by implementing certain restrictions, and we intend to be proactive, we intend to be fluid, and we intend to move as the pandemic moves, and that way we're able to allow the economy to operate while protecting individuals from community spread. So that is the plan. The plan is very fluid. We do not have a set plan, but we know, based on what's in front of us, what we would have to do to prevent community spread.
While some countries have moved to removing mask mandates, the Minister of Health says the Bahamas is not there yet.
We are watching what's going on around the world, and we're watching some countries loosen completely the restrictions, and you see the spikes in cases. For us in the Bahamas, we must be mindful of our healthcare system, and we need to make sure that many aspects of providing the appropriate health care is in place before we be that aggressive.
Health officials announced loosened restrictions Sunday. This called for increasing the capacity for church services to 50%, 75% capacity for restaurants, and up to 100 people at outdoor gatherings once fully vaccinated or if they produce a negative COVID-19 test. Another change is the reintroduction of COVID-19 testing for inter-island travel and persons entering the country 5 days after. Though commending the move, former Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands suggests the elimination of the travel health visa for domestic travel and Bahamians traveling overseas may make it difficult to track people and ensure they are tested. But Darville contends that while this may be the case, there is a plan.
The plan is being executed, and we're monitoring it. Like every plan, there may be some challenges, and you need to tweak it to get it right. But we believe that our plan is effective, and we intend to use it for the best of our ability to monitor cases that are imported into the country and to be able to isolate them and prevent community spread.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, 14 in New Providence and 1 each in Grand Bahama and Long Island gives us another 16 new COVID infections as of February 20th. An overall count of 33,068. Hospitalizations are pegged at 42, still 3 of the infected fighting off the virus on the intensive care unit. Active cases are 26,029, while the number of completed RT-PCR tests are 437, 2 of them repeats. 1 million. That's how many COVID-19 tests Doctors Hospital Health System successfully administered since launching its COVID testing initiative back on June 2020. The milestone reached earlier this month from the hospital's multifaceted testing program at its sites across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma. Doctors Hospital started its drive-through testing at its location out west, later expanding throughout the capital. Add to that its Rhythm of Testing initiative in November 2020 that comprised testing vendors and employees every 5 to 7 days in partner hotels. The likelihood of testing COVID positive through rapid antigen testing was lower in clients who utilized the Rhythm initiative alongside daily risk screening that produced 1.2% in overall test positivity. Those in the general population and clients who didn't use this approach, resulting in a 2% overall test positivity. According to the hospital's internal lab data, the positivity rate for RT-PCR tests was 15%, peaking at 43% in January. Similar statistics for rapid antigen test positivity was 2%, also peaking at 7.6% for the same period. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, is meantime defending the current administration's decision to switch the travel insurance provider for the Bahamas travel health visa from CG Atlantic, the company given the contract under the former administration, to Colina, and with no tender process. This on the heels of Auditor General Terence Bastian's damning report into the travel health visa program that revealed some financial laws were violated and best practices ignored. Cooper says there is a view the Ministry of Tourism is a corporate soul and that because it negotiates large contracts abroad that must be done quickly, the Tourism Act authorizes the ministry to enter contracts outside the normal frame of the public service. He says there were inquiries regarding the performance of the CG Atlantic Health Insurance, but the information was not forthcoming and officials were approaching a deadline where a new contract was needed as it would have expired with no insurance in place. Further, he says they could not determine if CG Atlantic's price was appropriate.
Subsequent to that, we made inquiries of other insurance companies. Kalina responded in a timely manner with a rate that was better than what we had with CG Atlantic and with a profit sharing component. In other words, if the plan makes excessive amounts of money for the insurer, they will pay some back to the government. So we thought it was a much better deal than the one we had. And we were at a point where time simply did not permit. CG Atlantic refused to extend the policy to allow us to do the appropriate analysis, and we took the decision to move to another carrier.
And when questioned how was this any different from the former administration's decision to award a similar contract to Canoe, Cooper says he's defending his own stewardship. As for the audit, the findings of which are being investigated, the minister says there were many mistakes or lapses in judgment from a governance administrative perspective. He says while technical advice suggests the former administration wanted to get the travel health visa going, it does not excuse the need to follow public service protocols and good governance.
I want to commend the Auditor General for the work that he did in terms of a very balanced report. The report will be taken seriously, and where there have not been corrections of some of these mistakes, those will be fixed post haste. I want to emphasize that these matters relate to a period before August 2021 under the former administration. The New Day government has low tolerance for these types of mistakes, and therefore we will ensure that they are corrected where they have not been in the shortest possible time frame.
Also making national news tonight, a number of accounting and financial officers across the public service are still off the job following a sick-out last Monday. Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honorable Pierre Glover-Roll, says it initially involved some 100 people, but after they understood the government wasn't aware why they were actually out, some returned to work. Glover-Roll says permanent secretaries have been asked to provide reports on what's taking place with their financial officers.
From what we can tell, there's minimal impact. Salaries don't seem to have been impacted, but special payments would have been impacted. That means deductions or any special payments that employees would have had facilitated through their salaries. In terms of how it has impacted the nation, of course, finance is a critical part of what we need in running a country. So revenue collection would have been impacted, and that doesn't only mean from a perspective of cashiers, because these were financial officers that are sitting out, but in terms of invoicing, producing purchase orders, allowing the government to collect funds that is due.
A Ministry of Finance statement recently acknowledged the action that wasn't sanctioned by the Bahamas Public Service Union led to an estimated $7.5 million in lost revenue. Glover-Roll says some of the officers who returned to work are performing duties not carried out last week, adding that officials are looking at the organizational structure to ensure no group holds the government hostage because only a few can carry out a task.
Well, my understanding is that the unions claims that they have no idea what is going on. And I have to believe them because they said it, and also because we have open lines of communication with the union. The union speaks to me, the union speaks to Minister Mitchell, the union speaks to our labor relations unit, and they would have met only a few days before this happened, and nothing was brought to our attention.
And remember to tune in to the Morning Edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour, starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30, and the National Report live at 7 p.m., all right here on the ZNS Network.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here.
So tight. Is she going to get there?
I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. Alive believed that every Bahamian deserved a world-class network and excellent customer service. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection.
Shawnee Miller-Weibo is total class. Look at her go. What a win.
As we continue to improve our lightning-fast, world-class network and connect with art, culture, and the world around us, never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our client. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Cable Bahamas Group of Companies is celebrating women in technology. We're taking this opportunity to pause and highlight the leading ladies in information, communication, and technology who are breaking stereotypes and shattering glass ceilings. We hope you'll join us in honoring the tremendous girl power that keeps our community connected.
The Davis administration's looking to the Seventh-day Adventist Church for use of its Wolf Road school campus, which the Christie government had hoped to transform into the STAR Academy. STAR, an acronym for Students Transitioning, Achieving, and Refocusing Enrichment, was envisaged to target at-risk youth. Questioned on the future of the project halted by the Minnis administration in 2017, Education Minister the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin had this to say.
The administration changed. It became controversial. I don't know why, because you're dealing with an established church and the government of the Bahamas, and there was a lot of innuendo that surrounded it, and the project was stopped for all those years. We have now we've entered into discussions with the Seventh-day Adventist Church for the utilization of that location. But it might not, it might be for a different purpose, and we're discussing another educational purpose for young people. So that's where it is right now. Nothing has been confirmed, but it's actively under discussion.
Churches across the country seeing an increase in public assistance as the ongoing pandemic and rising food costs pull heavily on purse strings. Bahamas Christian Council President Apostle Delton Fernandez says while churches are doing all they can to help those in need, their resources are equally strained.
We are seeing a heavy pull, and especially since the feeding program is basically shut down. It's back to business as usual. And churches are coming back from almost 2 years next month of being totally in a flux. And so the demand that is being placed on churches are greater than the resources. We serve a God that is able, but people are the ones that we get the resources from. And if they are suffering, the storehouse is suffering.
The senior clergyman is calling on more stakeholders to partner with the church in its efforts to assist the needy.
Some of our programs have had to go to begging. I mean, you can see some that have just received stipends from private groups. But what usually happens in churches is when we run out, we run out. Ultimately, it is through the grace that has been given to Christians that we're able to do what we've been asked to do. We must also challenge our social partners vis-a-vis the state to see the church as an extended arm of the reaching the poor and the outcasts in our society. There's a lot of demand that is placed on the entity called the church.
Well, countries the world over today celebrating International Supermarket Employee Day, and we can tell you those festivities no different here in the Bahamas. AML Foods Limited lauded employees at its Solomon's branches, and for the second year in a row, employees are being treated to a fun day at work. The best part, lunch, treats, and a series of giveaways.
We realize how hard our employees work every single day, and so this day is really a celebratory day to really thank them for their hard work and to show that we appreciate all that they've done for us over the many years in servicing our communities and ensuring that they deliver the best shopping experiences for our customers.
That's AML's Vice President of Human Resources, Kimberly Bodie, who added that for the past 2 years, supermarket employees have been undersung heroes during the pandemic. She says today's celebration is just one way to say thank you.
We realize that, our employees are frontline, they are essential workers, and so definitely over the past 2 years, they have worked extremely hard to ensure that they are in place to support, to serve our customers on a daily basis. And so again, I want to just say we appreciate you. They are definitely deserving of our gratitude.
There's a relatively new business venture focused on youth empowerment, and while the product may not be a new invention, these entrepreneurs are hoping their message resonates and inspires young Bahamians to get an early start on managing their money. Carla Palmer has the story.
On the roadside of Mosquito Drive in the Foxdale community, there's a small business venture that's sure to catch your eyes, cause you to stop, inquire, and probably even buy, as many others have done.
Give thanks and glorify because life, and as we sell the box them themselves.
So mostly on the weekend, the month, you got people that's, coming in for the stuff.
For Johnny Brown and David Smith, partners in the business, Cash Flow Saving Banks, the vision was conceptualized just prior to the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020.
Really start out from a vision, God, say I must build a saving box, that I and I really can leave something to the youth, for you find the generation are not saving. We are more spending, and if you work everything and spend everything, you're going down in a poverty.
So this is all about saving. Teach your children how to save, not spend. And that's what happened to us now today. Because as a man like me now, I feel it and all right now.
Business is so good that at times they say they are challenged with demand exceeding supply.
Coming up, they come right there, they buy it. They start putting coins in right there and they hold it like a baby in their hand. Even big people and all, man.
And as we build them, the people buy them and keep telling us that we must do more, do more. Sometimes we don't even come out in time. Them come at the house and call we out and say we need a box.
With word of mouth, their biggest promotional medium, Brown and Smith also use Facebook and pop-up sites throughout New Providence to sell their product. While there's a variety of piggy banks to choose from in size, shape, and color, Brown says the house shape is his best seller and explains the concept behind it.
Ownership, because when you own a saving bank as a house, that you see in a future, you see in a shelter, you see in a security. No one can live out a door unless the animal and the animal don't want to live outside. So this even represents you in saving even towards your home, same way as a youth. You know what I mean? That means that you have an idea where you're going.
Both Brown and Smith are calling on parents and guardians to encourage their children to begin saving early, as the investment will be priceless. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
The Department of Labor has partnered with the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute and a number of private sector companies to host career fairs across the country in the coming weeks. The first career fair took place today and again tomorrow in Eleuthera, where free certified training in the construction industry is being offered. Director of Labor, Robert Farquharson, says it's all about preparing job seekers for the employment opportunities on tap for that island.
Tomorrow we'll be in Gregory Town. We'll be hosting a career fair in that area to try and see if we could sign up at least 250 persons to become certified with a certified calling NCCER training. This will enable the users to become certified in the construction industry, and the relationship that we have built with the Disney Group, where they're going to have those persons employed on the project in Saudi Eleuthera beginning in June of this year. It's an online training program. It covers the first phase covers about 87 contact hours, and it will allow those Bahamians that become certified to become eligible to work on that project.
And here's what job seekers should bring to the career fair.
They need $25 to join the program. The remaining time is paid for at full scholarship. You do not even have to complete high school. The idea is it's going to be training online It's going to be training and hands-on. And we want the young men and women to come and sign up for this training. You don't need no BJCs, you don't need no BJCFAs. You're going to get a piece of paper from BTVI once you complete the training that you were certified in certain areas in the construction industry. In addition to the construction industry, they also this program also enables you to get training in hospitality management and different areas. And so the idea is for the Bahamian workforce to become qualified so they can take these jobs that are going to be coming available very, very soon.
From Eleuthera, we head to South Abaco, where the Ernestine Highway was the scene of an early morning traffic fatality. Police have so far gathered that the driver of a Honda Fit was traveling north when he lost control of the vehicle and veered off the eastern side of the street, causing the car to overturn several times. The driver was ejected in the process. The victim was rushed to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where a doctor pronounced him dead. The matter's under active investigations. Abaco's vehicular tragedy, one of 46 on the streets last year, and while authorities are quick to remind you that's still one too many, that figure's less than what was recorded in 2020.
Our traffic initiatives have led to a 16% decrease in traffic fatalities for a second year in a row. We conducted thousands of traffic stops and cited motorists that were in violation of traffic laws. We utilize speed guns to monitor our highways and crack down on reckless drivers as a means to encourage road safety. We mobilize officers throughout the Bahamas and issued over 31,000 fixed penalty notices and investigated 9,528 road accidents.
And that there, Police Commissioner Paul Roll, who says 2021 stats also point to 1,239 hit and runs, 1,844 accidents that led to minor injuries, and another 139 with serious injuries. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. We have some patchy clouds outside of our studios. The temperature at 75 degrees. Relative humidity 73%, easterly winds at 14 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,022.4 millibars, that's 30.21 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 75 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Atoll Key, Marsh Harbor, Abaco at 77 degrees, the Berry Island 76, Owl Sound, Bimini, 77 degrees, 76 in Harbor Island, and Rock Sound, Eleuthera, taking you further south into San Salvador and Rum Key, 76 degrees there. George Shannon, Zuma, 79 degrees, 78 in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklands, Matutani, Nagua, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 79 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Towel King, and the Paint Center. In the Northwestern Islands tonight, easterly winds still at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. Caution flags will hold tonight. High tide, that will take place at 21 minutes past midnight. And for the central and southeastern islands, easterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, rough seas 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. Caution flags continue for the central and southeastern islands tonight through Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, and this will take you right into Thursday in the northwestern islands. The winds fall off quite nicely, easterly at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide on Wednesday and Thursday will be at 6:47 in the morning. High tide will take place at 12:36 in the afternoon. In the central and southeastern islands, Wednesday through Thursday, easterly winds, unchanged speeds at 15 to 20 knots, meaning those rough seas will continue at 4 to 7 feet, and the caution flags as well. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Did you see Uncle Lou when it fall in the well? Oh, Uncle Lou when it fall in the well. Did you see Uncle Lou when it fall in the well? Oh, Uncle Lou when it fall in the well. I said he fell so deep that he went straight to hell. Oh, Uncle Lou when it fall in the well. The devil and his angels stop ringing the bell.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. Extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Be
VTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rates, no delays. Best rates, no delays.
Visit a VTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Undecided about the COVID-19 vaccine or booster? Here are some facts to help you make a decision. The vaccine does not cause COVID-19 infection, and there's no evidence that it makes it worse. Approved vaccines are monitored for safety across the globe. Vaccines do not alter your DNA. The vaccine is effective against current variants of the COVID-19 virus. The vaccine can prevent severe illness if you do contract the virus. We're all in this together. Choose wisely.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Every journey starts with the first step, and mine starts here. I believed in Tokyo, the belief that I could be, we could be the best. We are drenched in Bahamian pride, no matter where we go. In 5 years, Alive built the Bahamas' best network, delivering faster speeds and stronger connections to all 700 islands and keys. Alive believed that every Bahamian deserved a world-class network and excellent customer service. I am proud to be Director of Speed and Connection.
Is total class. Look at her go. What a win.
As we continue to improve our lightning-fast, world-class network and connect with art, culture, and the world around us, never stop dreaming and never stop believing.
This is ZNS Total Sports. Welcome to Sports on this Tuesday. I'm Amajal Knowles. Topping sports news, the Bahamas turning in a strong performance on day one of the International Tennis Federation's World Junior Tennis Competition for the North Central American and Caribbean region, taking down Honduras 3-0 in the pre-qualifying tournament. Playing in the number one singles position, Bahamian Jackson McTaggart won in straight sets over Adrian Mateo Bustamante of Honduras, 7-6 and 6-love. Playing in the number two spot, William McCartney came out on top for the Bahamas, also prevailing in straight sets. He defeated Julio Gomez in straight sets 6-1 and 6-4. The doubles team of McTaggart and Gerald Carroll were successful also, taking down the duo from Honduras in straight sets. They won over Gom and Eduardo Matute 6-2 and 6-1. Now the team Bahamas consists of Coach Bradley Bain, McTaggart, McCartney, and Carroll. The Bahamas plays out of Group C in the mini-tournament. They're scheduled to play the other nation in the group, Barbados, on Wednesday, and that will be followed by the crossover playoffs. Has been instrumental in the Phoenix Suns' success on the court in the NBA over the past few years. But for Bahamian basketball superstar DeAndre Ayton, it's time for the fans to get a look at his life and personality off the court. Ayton recently sitting down with GQ magazine for a digital piece entitled 10 Things DeAndre Ayton Can't Live Without, where he gives viewers a look at some of his hobbies and things closest to his heart.
Man, I do everything with this music, FaceTime, and just always keeping up with my opponents, you know, seeing their tendencies and their bread and butter. Screensetter most definitely is my little brother and my son, and they're my guys right there.
What are your top 3 apps, the top 3 things you do on your iPhone?
Well, YouTube for sure. People, you know, if I'm running Ox, don't. You gonna hear a commercial for sure, because I'm always on YouTube. FaceTime is another one, and iMessage. This really came in handy when I got to the finals. Basketball. Playoffs got serious, and, you know, really watching film to build that confidence going into games, it really helps. So that's when I really, you know, got attached to my iPad.
In continuing the trend of NBA players spending some time in paradise during the All-Star break, yesterday we revealed 76ers star James Harden was in town, and today yet another superstar was spotted getting a sweat in here in the 242. This time it was Miami Heat superstar Jimmy Butler, who could be seen here in the C.I. Gibson Gymnasium, working on what appears to be some low post moves, presumably in Jimmy Butler fashion, talking a little bit of trash. Not a surprise that Jimmy's using some of the downtime to better his craft, as his work ethic is one of the most heralded in the league. Butler's averaging 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists this season for the Heat, while currently 38-21, tied for the best record in the Eastern Conference. We're in college basketball news with the Ole Miss Lady Rebs securing their first 20-win season in over a decade this weekend. Coach Olette McPhee-McCowan on how her team has dealt with overcoming adversity.
We have not done well in adversity in the past. We have lost 6-point leads. We have folded to adversity. And today we pushed through. And that's what I was looking for with our group. Was really proud of how they all stepped up. I thought Shakira had a monster night, and they knew what was at stake. We felt like if we got this win, it would really put us in good position for the NCAA tournament, and obviously that's our goal. So,
one of the top junior golfers in the nation, Heathcliff Kane, took his game on the road and earned a first-place finish on the international stage. Kane tied for first place at the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour Southeast Florida Open in Miami Lakes, Florida. In the boys 16 to 18 division, the Albany Academy product shot rounds of 78 and 36 to tie Diego Azar from London. According to the organization, the Orlando, Florida-based HJGT hosted events in 28 states and Canada during the 2021 campaign. The HJGT season is based on a calendar year, and players earn points throughout the season towards year-end honors, being December 31st. The HJGT was founded in 2007 with the intention of providing junior golfers between the ages of 8 to 18 an opportunity to play exceptional courses in a competitive environment. It is the largest multi-day junior golf tour in the United States, hosting more two-day nationally ranked events than any other tournament. For Kane, he currently has a world amateur golf ranking of 3,573 and a points average of 228.3. Locally, Kane is the defending Bahamas Golf Federation National Amateur Golf Champion. And the Providence Youth Football League gearing up to start its season. For organizer and coach Jamiko Culmer, the league has seen tremendous growth over the past few years, and some of the athletes continue to catch the eye of international recruiters.
We have a few kids out here right now who are off to school, so it really speaks to the success and productivity of our program. We have a lot of kids right now who are being looked at from coaches in the States and are pretty good prospects. Just this week I was talking to a coach in Jacksonville and trying to give him some play information in terms of their 40 time, their 5'10", weight, height, all that stuff. So we have a lot of good looks coming out of our camp. Every year we have at least 3 or 4 players going off to school and continuing their playing career.
And that's been a look at sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Avery's has been around from 1992 in an area far away from most things. In 2018, I picked up the mantle. At the answer that I would have taken over, I was connected to Give Bahamas, and I'm always trying to enhance my Avery's package. And I wanted to expand my customer satisfaction through technology. Everybody comes in and they want to use the Wi-Fi. They want to be able to go live, show off the food and the ambience and the entertainment. So since I've been using the Aero device, my buffering almost went to 0. There's no interruption in that service, which is phenomenal. I would recommend the Aero device to anyone to use it. It works.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate.
I'm Corval Pfeiffer.
In her official role as spouse of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis has placed the welfare of children at the top of her agenda. Mrs. Davis recently joined BTC, the Ministry of National Security, and family members of the late 11-year-old Marco Archer for the testing of the new emergency alert system to aid with locating missing children named in Marco's honor.
I am super happy today and bursting with anticipation for this system to start working, be totally implemented. There's so many uses that this system will be good for that I am extremely happy and thrilled, and I congratulate BTC today for having accomplished this.
BTC's task is at this point, they have a larger network, they have legacy systems, and of course, while we would want to have done it much quickly, we have to do it safely for the integrity of their system and the integrity of the Royal Bahamas Police Force system. It's long waiting, and it was definitely necessary, this alert. Based on our experience, we felt as if it was something that would help. And now it's here, and we just hope, like it was said, we just hope people speak up, say something.
A strong network means more than just providing efficient service, but building a strong community. That's BTC, and these are